Hey family, this is Shonda Hollis of Ragland Inspirations. Welcome to SOUL-U-TIONS, the mix where pain and purpose collide. Hey family, Shonda Hollis here of Drew Solutions, the mix where pain and purpose collide. Yes, I know it's been a long time. It's been quite some time. And I hope you guys miss me just as much as I miss you. I'm coming on real quick. This is a quick pop-up of this. It's not going to be really long. I'm coming on for a purpose, and that is to formally invite you to come to Solutions Live. For those of you who have gone and who have come out to this event, you know it is a fabulous, fabulous event. And we have done some amazing things for some amazing organizations. And so this year, I am so excited that we are bringing awareness to sickle cell anemia. And I just want to just pop up real quick and bring somebody on, one of our guests. We have amazing guests. I say amazing a lot. Didn't I say this the last time? How many times have I said amazing in the last 4 minutes? I don't know why I like amazing so much. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I am really, really, really excited about our guests who are coming on and who are going to be with us live. And right now, we have one of our special guests. I call him Mr. President, y'all. I call him Mr. President. We're decreeing and declaring a thing, and it shall be established. I got a little church in here, Raymond. Don't be mad about it. That's just who I am. Okay? But I am excited. We're going to go ahead and introduce Christian Ragland. Come on, let's clap it up. Some parts. I'm telling you, he is here with us. Christian, thank you so much for coming on real quick. Listen, don't get spoiled. Get this and then email me, DM me, or whatever, however you need to contact me and get your ticket. Because this quick pop-up and what he's going to drop, little jewels he's going to drop, you're going to want to be there to experience that. Christian, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for being one of the forerunners, right, to make sure that community health is a priority. And you do not need to be a medical professional. You do not need to work in a hospital to make sure that our community is taking their health seriously. And so, good evening, everyone. And so, my name is Christian Ragland. I am one of the assistant vice presidents with Atlanticare. My focus primarily is on health equity, which is making sure that we are providing access to care to our communities, to our patient population, but more importantly, making sure that people understand the accessibility of their health journey and health literacy journey. So, been in healthcare for a long time, graduated right out of college, got right into human resources, and really turned that into a desire to see our communities empowered through health conversations. So I'm blessed that there is a role for me within this Atlanticare health system that allows me to stand in the gap, if I could say that, for our communities that may not know. And we know historically, particularly in our communities, the African American communities, that generations have went by without them having care that they need, simply because there was no one in the room to advocate for them. So as I always tell people, that my job is not just to sit with a title, but my job is to advocate, to make sure that things that are not being brought to light are being brought to light. And it just so happens that sickle cell disease is one of those things that I began my journey on in health equity a few years ago. And I'm grateful that you have decided that this is your topic, because there's so much to talk about as it pertains to sickle cell disease, and some things that you may not know and some things you do know but you need a refresher on. So thankful for the opportunity to share some insight among many guests that you've invited who are way more qualified than me. I'm just happy to be at the table.
Well, you know what, I'm like this, because everything that you just said is like period. But what I would like to say is that for you to make mention of, you are the advocate for our community. And I think that it's very important. And so I am really excited to share about sickle cell because I had a special encounter with my assistant, and we talked about that. And I can remember when I was doing, I think, domestic violence that year. I was doing domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and sexual assault, right? SA. I forgot.
Hmm.
Anyway, when I did that year, I did three. Let me repeat that again: sexual assault, human trafficking, and domestic violence. That was that year that we discussed it, and I told you that I wanted to do sickle cell, and you were like, "Please let me know." And so I am excited that I had the opportunity to bring awareness to that this year, and it's really amazing. There is a game, y'all. Amazing. It's really, um, but it is because I was in a public setting and people were coming to my table, and at least five told me that they had the sickle cell traits. I had the information on the table. And so I think that this is definitely going to be an event that everyone can benefit and learn something from.
Hmm.
I'm so excited about you. You introduced me to Miss Mary, who is coming. Talk just a little bit about Miss Mary and her background. And one of the reasons why we're doing this quick pop up, because I want you to know that the individuals, the people who are coming, are vetted. They are coming to this event and they are going to share some jewels with you, and they're going to share some information with you that is definitely going to benefit you and your family. So it's very important that you know that when you come, not only are you going to have great food, great music, I give away door prize, but we're going to definitely have fruitful conversation. It is going to bless your life. And so you need to be there, because it may not be you who is directly impacted, but the information that you receive can definitely help and benefit someone else, whether it be telling you about the symptoms, or Christian talking about the health equity aspect of it. Miss Mary coming, which he's going to talk a little bit about her. You need to come because it is definitely important for us to know about this, because it does affect our community, and you never know. So,
Yeah,
Miss Mary, I'm really excited about the introduction. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
To her, I could tell she's just solid. Tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about Miss Mary, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get her to come on and talk real quick as well.
Miss Mary, Miss Mary, Miss Mary. So, like, she's the GOAT of sickle cell
Yeah.
awareness and advocacy in New Jersey. And so, Miss Mary is the executive director of the Sickle Cell Association of New Jersey. I had the pleasure of meeting Miss Mary about 5 years ago
Mm.
when I began my journey in understanding the sickle cell disease. I want to take a quick trip backwards to something you said about the trait. And so, a lot of the difficulty when we look at sickle cell disease from a health standpoint is that you need to know if you have the trait. The reason why sickle cell can turn into the full sickle cell disease is if someone produces a child with the trait, with someone who has the trait, and there is a greater likelihood that that child is going to have sickle cell disease. And so many times, what I hear when I'm talking to people who have sickle cell disease or have children living with sickle cell disease, it's because they did not realize that they were with someone who had the trait, because you learn about that when you're born. And so your parents' responsibility is to let you know, have those conversations as you get old enough to have them, to say, you have the trait. So
Right.
you need to be asking these questions when you find someone that you say you fall in love with, just
Right.
like we ask about credits, we
Yeah.
ask about
What-
any criminal history.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to
Exactly.
ask these things as well, and not just sickle cell disease, but everything. You want to know, because you want to make sure that you are not creating a generation of infirmity because you did not have these conversations.
That
So,
is so good.
so going back to the trait, I met Miss Mary again about 5 years ago with Atlanta Care. We were hosting a community town hall for individuals living with sickle cell disease in Atlantic City. Now, at this time, I really didn't understand or know the vitality of the conversation, but I did know that sickle cell disease was a disease that really impacted African Americans. But the difficulty sometimes with sickle cell disease is that it only impacts a small portion of the population. So you look at 100,000 people is probably the most up-to-date amount of how many people are living in the United States with sickle cell disease. So the reason why it's difficult, because that's not a big number compared to the bigger population of 300 million Americans. And so a lot of times health systems may say, I don't know what I can do, because we may get one person who comes in with sickle cell disease or in crisis in a week. And so they don't put a lot of resources behind it. And so we had to have people like Miss Mary who came to the table and say, listen, I don't care how small the number is, you need to have things in place. So I remember going to this meeting, and I said, I'm just going to go and eat the subs that they have here. And, I'm just going to listen. And there was a young girl and her mother who saw my Atlantic Care badge,
Okay.
and said, got him. And they began to talk to me.
Wow.
They said, in many good words and choice words, you are not doing a good job of taking care of patients living with sickle cell disease. And so I removed the sub from my hand and put it to the side and said, I need to listen to this.
Yeah.
And what I heard was a story of a 29-year-old young African-American woman who was living with sickle cell disease, who was going into crisis pretty much every month. And if you know anything about crisis, pain crisis, a pain crisis to some people, they explain it is, if you want to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 15.
Right.
That's how painful it is, because your red blood cells are sickled and they're going through your veins and it's scraping your bloodstream. So anyway, they begin to say things like, we want to see more done for patients living with sickle cell disease, so we don't have to travel to Philadelphia when we go into crisis. We don't have to travel to North Jersey. We want to stay in our own community. And so I took that to heart. And interesting enough, I gave that woman, that daughter, my cell phone number, and she went into crisis that night.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, Christian, you got your chance to really understand this. And so I remember getting up at 2 a.m. when I got that call, and I ran over to IED. I let my team know. I said, hey, I'm coming in. And I was able to follow her through her process of what was happening internally inside our hospital. And it was good, but it was some things that I saw that I wanted to make sure that we could build upon. And so Ms. Mary, bringing it back to her, who had extensive experience working with hospitals across the state, mainly in North Jersey, where they see a lot more patients that live with sickle cell, because the acuity level for African Americans with sickle cell is higher in North Jersey versus South Jersey. And she connected me, and we connected, and we built a relationship. And her team has come down and helped us. There's some team members that work with me, and some board members here in Atlantic City that are passionate about sickle cell disease as well, and they've been very helpful with educating even our providers, educating our nurses. And so I say that to say Miss Mary was the catalyst of being able to start the conversations internally within my team of what we can do better, so that we are giving those patients everything that they need to live a prosperous life. And a lot of people don't know that sickle cell disease patients, people living with sickle cell disease, sometimes they don't have a long life expectancy.
Wow.
But one of the ways you can increase that life expectancy is through proper care being managed. And so that's why it's important that we're creating things in partnership with the Miss Marys of the world to make sure that we are increasing the life expectancy of not only people living with sickle cell disease, but people living in general with any type of disease.
Yeah. Yeah. How important it is, how important, as we start wrapping this up, is it for people to attend, and how, because of your relationship with Miss Mary, for us to be able to do something significant for what she does, how important is it for people to come out and to support this?
It's extremely important, because you never know who you're going to come in contact with who's going to need you to advocate for them. There are so many people who are living with different diseases because they don't think anyone cares enough to advocate for them, even when they can't advocate for themselves. Sometimes what I've learned about people working in healthcare, that when you are especially with a chronic disease and you're always in the hospital, sometimes you get tired of advocating for yourself because you're just tired in general. And so you need people to be educated on all of these things, particularly sickle cell disease, so that when that person gets tired of asking for help, and that person gets tired of trying to explain themselves, everyone is trained to recognize what they can do. I'll tell you an interesting story. So the other thing that people don't realize about sickle cell disease is that there is a tendency to think that people coming into the hospital with sickle cell disease crisis are drug seeking because they need a high dosage of pain management
Right.
and pain medication.
Yeah.
So, because of unfortunate stereotypical biases of your drug seeking, a lot of people don't come to the ED right away. They make sure they're dressed to the nines. They're dressed, they got their, this is her words, not mine, but I had one woman say, I put on my good wig,
Wow.
right? I make sure
Yeah.
that I look presentable because I don't want anything to come in the way of my treatment because they think I'm drug seeking off the street. And so, it's critically important that all of us become advocates because we don't want anyone feeling that they got to do all of these extra things just to seek care. And so, again, why is it important that Miss Mary be honored and you come out to hear Miss Mary and hear these things? One is learning, right? Cultural competency, your ability to communicate across the spectrum of different things. But two, we need to make sure that we're grooming the next Miss Marys to go forth so that she doesn't have to bear the burden. Because again, she's the OG of sickle cell disease in New Jersey, and I'm so glad that I met her when I did, because if it had not been for her, I wouldn't have been connected to a hospital that's helped me build something within my own hospital system.
Wow, that is so great. Well, you heard it straight from Mr. President himself. I thank you so much. I really hope that you got something out of this and that it perhaps maybe pulled on your heartstrings. If you can't make this event, you can certainly, and I have to put this out here, is donate, because we do this event for awareness, but we also do this event to support Miss Mary and her organization and what she does. And that night, and I was telling Christian this, and he was like, wow. I said, no, every representative of the organization for which we have brought awareness to, that night they walked away with the check. So whatever amount that we raised, that we all did this together, that you participate in, they get that check in their hand that night to continue to assist and to help, or wherever they need that funding, wherever they need to distribute it to be a help to those communities that they serve, whether it's lupus, whether it's domestic violence, sexual assault, or human trafficking, whether it's pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer. This year it's sickle cell. And you heard it straight from Christian. It is a very small community. And so the more of us that come together, it's just a little bit, right? It's just, if everybody do their part, if everyone does their part, that's where we make mega impact. But everyone has to do their part. I can't do it on my own. You can't do it on your own. Christian can't do it on his own. But like he said, it's to raise up the next. We need to be accountable to one another and be accountable to our community. It takes a village. And so I need your help. I need you to come and be a blessing to Miss Mary in her organization. It means a lot to me. I have a nephew that has sickle cell trait, but there are some, I'm hearing the closer it gets to this and the more advertisement I am hearing about people who have the trait, or hearing stories of individuals who have sickle cell and what they go through, even hearing the term crisis. And I can't imagine what that was like, for you to see, and I believe that we're going to get deeper into it. And I would like to, when you said when your cells sickle and what that actually is. We probably, Warrior Mom Jessica will talk about that too. But I think it's important for us to know and to be accountable for what we know. And a little bit goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way if we all do our part. So this event is going to be, what do I say? Amazing. It's going to be, I'm telling you, and it is my birthday, y'all. Around my birthday, and I did this event one day. It fell on my birthday, and my team was like, "Do you still want to do this on your birthday?" And I said, "Why not? What a better way to celebrate my birthday. It is the gift that keeps on giving." I did not coin that, but I love it. So this is something that I had the opportunity to do, and so we're going to celebrate. We had great food. We have great entertainment. You're going to hear from Rob, the gentleman that's going to come. He's coming from Texas. Hell, he's from Philly, but he's coming from Texas. And so he's going to come. We're going to have wonderful music, wonderful food, great fellowship. You'll be able to network, and most of all, you will be a part of something that you can feel good about. You're going to be a part of something that you can feel good about. And so let's come together. Let South Jersey represent, and all over, but let us represent and let Miss Mary know that we support her, we support what she does, and we want to just be a blessing to her life. Okay? So again, thank you, Christian, so much. Thank you so much for coming on. I don't know. Where's the claps, Raymond? The claps. So we'll have the clap on. Listen, if you are interested and you can't come, but you want to be a part of this, what amazing opportunity to be a blessing to Miss Mary, you can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms, or you can reach out to me by email, lorraydrew@gmail.com. If you can't make it and you have some questions, Christian, tell them how they can get in contact with you if they want to donate, but they can't make it, but they want to hear more about it.
Sure, you can reach out to me at cragland@atlanticare.org. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm always talking about health equity, or my kids, or my wife, just so she asked.
Yeah.
If she asked if I mentioned her. But yeah, please reach out to me. There's resources out there that I can connect you to. There's support groups out there. One last thing, I forgot to say this.
Please.
If you know someone who is living with sickle cell disease, the doctor that they need to connect with is called a hematologist. A hematologist works in a cancer center. They work in an oncology unit. These are the people that look at your blood. So I think that's critically important as well, is that if you hear someone say they have the sickle cell disease or live with it, make sure you ask them, who is your hematologist? If they can't tell you who the hematologist is, you need to let them know they need to get one so that they can have life expectancy.
Great information. Thank you so much for that. And one more thing for me before I leave. If there is someone that you know, family member, and they may be interested in coming to this event, and maybe perhaps they don't have the resources, email me. I have tickets that had been donated, and I have tickets to give away. So if there's someone that you know who has sickle cell, the sickle cell trait, someone in their family, and they just can't make it, we will make sure that they make it to connect with Christian and Miss Mary and even Miss Jessica, okay? Because this is a community thing, and we want to impact, empower, and inspire you. Thank you again so much. Thank you for coming. And I want to see you November the 15th at 6 o'clock at the Directors Inc. Creative Arts Center. I want to see you there at 6 o'clock. Be there in what we used to say, old school, be square. All right. That means be on time. Thank you. God bless you. And remember, pray always, love relentlessly, and be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. And I will see you on November the 15th. God bless.